See a lot of Democrats and liberals upset about President Trump's remarks on Robert Mueller. While those remarks are harsh, and I probably wouldn't have made them myself, that man tried to destroy President Trump's life. He tried to send him to prison for the rest of his life. They knew it was BS. They didn't care. They needed to rid themselves of Donald Trump. These same people upset about the president's remarks celebrated the unaliving of Trump. They bought t-shirts celebrating what happened to him. They made TikTok post after TikTok post celebrating what happened to him. But when the president gives his true feelings about Robert Mueller no longer being here, they're upset. When does the hypocrisy become too much for you guys to bear? Do you draw the line anywhere? At least the president wasn't celebrating what happened to Mueller. He gave his true personal opinion. You know, those things that Democrats and liberals can't seem to stand. Unless they're the same as theirs.
I think to myself, I listen to you guys kvetch and clutch your pearls about what you thought was being said about Charlie. I listened to you. We felt for his family.
Absolutely.
And yet you don't have the courage or it's not even empathy.
Decency.
Just the decency to say, you know what? Go with God. I didn't like what he did.
Right.
I didn't like what he did to me, but go with God. This is what we say about people we don't like. If we don't like their politics, if we don't like their personage, go with God. I don't like you, but God loves you. That's what we do. That's how America's supposed to run, regardless of what God you're talking about. And we will be right back before.
Let's keep sentiment aside. The president actually sent out this tweet, and I saw mixed reactions on social media. There are some conservatives that were actually really not happy with the president for actually saying this. There are some people I saw, they said, oh, when the president was attacked, nobody was there to condemn. In fact, they quoted a lot of things. When you take a look at what Piers Morgan actually said, I agree, President Trump should stay away from his phone when people he doesn't like pass away. R.I.P. Robert Mueller. And thank you for your service. When you look at this, you can clearly see that people understand that Trump has been heard for a very long time by these people. But it is extremely difficult, to really express yourself to people who are there with you.
I've played plenty of tough, scary guys in the movies. But you know what really scares the hell out of me? What the government, this government, our government.
And it trickles down. And I think for Donald Trump, this is when he hits rock bottom. Because he won people, there was a lot of his message that people were attracted to. And this is when he can't help himself and he gets himself in such trouble. It's indefensible. I'm so tired of the movement we've been in and his statements when people have served their life. I have two brothers that are currently serving this country.
Right, yeah.
They don't get to pick which president they serve. They don't have that ability.
Yeah.
And I look at someone like Robert Mueller. My dad has served every president since Ronald Reagan. This is how I was raised.
Yeah.
At what point, either say nothing at all or send condolences to the family.
Yeah.
It breaks my heart for this country. It's a race to the bottom. And I'm trying to raise kids, as we all are, and grandkids. And I'm trying to teach them how to be opposite of this. I'm trying to teach them how to be humble, how to be kind.
And isn't that sad that you have to teach your children to be the opposite of the president of the United
There's something particularly galling, I think, about the commander-in-chief in the middle of a war taking to Truth Social to attack somebody who won a Bronze Star and a Purple Heart while Commander Bone Spurs was dodging the draft.
Yeah.
And and it's the hypocrisy of this entire situation that I think is something that we can't get numb to.
Yeah.
And I just want to remind people, though, because I've heard very few Republicans condemn this. Let me just say this. Karma never forgets an address.
Listen.
And he is 80 years old. He's got obvious, visible physical ailments. And there will be people that when he passes away, as we will all pass away, will write these type of things and celebrate.
Well,
If you don't condemn it today from him, you don't have a right to condemn it then from anybody.
Yeah.
Well, also, It's not.
They really want us to condemn Donald Trump for his statement about Robert Mueller leaving the planet. I refuse to keep being the bigger person. Look where it's got us. I've changed. Me a year ago, I would have condemned what the president said about Robert Mueller, but at this point, it doesn't matter what we say or do. The left is always going to turn it around and say that we are horrible people while they actively celebrate when one of us leaves the planet. There is nothing we can do that will change their opinions of us. There is literally nothing we can say that's going to make them stop believing that we are monsters. So you know what? I give up. I give up. You can think whatever you want. You don't like what Donald Trump said? Boo-hoo, go cry in a corner. You can't honestly believe, after everything that you have said and done, that you are the ones that have any sort of moral high ground to stand on. It's crazy because I used to think if I condemned that sort of behavior and showed the left that we're not the monsters that they've created in their heads, that they would change their opinion.
Sometimes when you look at what is happening like this, you can clearly see the minds of people about the whole situation. You know, when Charlie passed, we saw a lot of Democrats, coming out to celebrate, putting out videos upon videos. Some people even lost their jobs about that. And when you see their response on social media, they always try to go back to this. Oh, when this happened, now the president of the United States is doing this. I understand what Trump said is very actually sensitive at this point, because the family seeing this, they will obviously feel tired. But when you look at this round, you will clearly see that Trump might be hurt in a way that we don't even know. Yeah, because you cannot say a lot. You are not into his shoes. You don't understand the pains he went through under this guy. People are sentiment, like they have right to express themselves about the whole situation. Some say, no, I'm a Trump supporter, but I don't agree with what he said. Yeah, that is what I see with a lot of people. But sometimes we need to look at things a little bit different. Someone quoted here, I remember the crowd cheering when Trump was indicted. I remember the celebration when he was convicted. I remember the excitement over his mugshot going viral. I remember the glee at Mar-a-Lago. Right. I remember people cheering when Trump was. A lot of these are actually on social media. People are going back, and it gives them reason not to even really talk against the president when he sent out this tweet. Sometimes it's extremely difficult even reacting to videos like this, because if you look at with your normal eyes, you realize this is wrong. But when you go deep, go closer to Trump, to understand his pains toward these people, you start questioning yourself, like, why should you even condole with them? Trump is someone that he doesn't actually know how to pretend. He will always express himself the way he feels. Yeah, this is the second time this is happening, right? Trump can't hide his emotions. Reason, you see Piers Morgan say Trump should stay away from his phone when his enemy pass.
I heard Gavin use this phrase, culturally normal. Did you see that?
No.
He was asked about, I guess, how the Democrats can win. And I think that phrase is going to bubble up. He said they have to learn to be more culturally normal.
God bless you abundantly. I just wanted you to see these kind of reactions. As of the short clips at the end, that is for White I'm going to you can whisk it.
Their platform. He's still us.
Tonight could get political.
To say which?
There's an alternate Oscars being hosted by Kid Rock.
Not only is he a great actor.
Is that?
Anniversary of the Oscars So White campaign, someone must wear a ribbon that says, "We won."
Out on the buffet, they're just hard.
What is this? My 600-pound?
Yeah, and you're right. Every day is something new.
That Trump laid in the State of the Union address.
To get here. Trump! Go Trump! Hey, Murphy, you're scumbag. Thanks, man.
Our chamber is chanting USA. Philip.
He utilized almost like these game show type moments where you're seeing awards being presented.
Just so and did not shake her hand there.
Here's the video. He shook everyone's hand. Everyone. There's the Chief Justice. All of them got their hands shaken. To the point where they had to come back on the air and say this in Stop 33.
But we should point out as he walks in, he's pretty close to the justices again as he comes.
Other than illegal on either of those two, I think they took his bait.
Can take away from the joyous moment as all Americans. And why are they putting a medal?
Oh, he's already under scrutiny for 1,000 reasons. Carol Patel posted this on X.
Job.
I get suspicious when any
person's home. It's very easy to.
This is for the people in the United States who are terrorized and scared today.
The country's in such emotional turmoil.
And Republicans on both sides. You're
so amazing. And wasn't it so great?
When it can be hard to hope.
Hey, girl.